Bueno, buenas tardes a todos, a todas. Ahí va llegando los últimos. Les pedimos que los que aún no encontraron su gafete, que lo busquen si necesitan que nos pidan ayuda y que se sienten donde está su nombre. Y vamos a empezar. Bien, aquí estamos con Roy. Esta va a ser una sesión en inglés. Roy va a hablar en inglés, así que el que necesite traducción simultánea puede ir a buscarla. Y bueno, sin más, vamos a empezar. Así que, hi Roy, how are you?
Gracias.
De nada. Okay, let's put the first slide, our presentation. No. This is me. That's like
Let's talk about you, Jesse.
No, we can move forward. And this is Roy. Este workshop se va a tratar de un espacio de construcción colaborativa conjunta, así que por eso también esta disposición diferente. Así que los invitamos a ser activos en lo que va a suceder ahora, que a través de una dinámica que Roy va a proponer, vamos a arribar a nuevas preguntas y posiblemente a nuevas resoluciones.
Sounds so much better in Spanish.
So much better in Spanish. Okay, so let's start.
Cool. Hola. I'm so thankful to be here with you, and just want to start by saying muchas gracias for the last days. It's been such an amazing experience, and thank you Annabella and Sergio and Hila who arrive tomorrow, and many thanks to amazing Jesse. This is actually a joint venture, so when we talk about collaboration, we try to walk the talk, yes, and also for Tammy. So usually I do it for 3 days, and I'm gonna do it now for 3 hours. Just kidding. And Annabella, no. And I'll try to encapsulate everything I know into the next 90 minutes, because it's such a huge honor to be here with you, and actually I feel that I'm supposed to be the student here, but in the last 20 years I've been building many platforms of collaborations, and I did a lot of processes to create better connectivity, especially between social activists. So I'm just going to share everything I know with you, and my only ask from you is actually that you write any question that you have, any thought, any suggestion, and please come just tell me what you got after this session. It's really such an amazing opportunity to get your perspective. And just earlier we were talking that the word elegance has also a Spanish meaning, right?
Elegante.
Elegir, meaning choose, right? A choice. So I think we have this deep meaning of words. Elegance is also a way of choose. We can choose elegance. Also, the word intention. How do you say? Intención. Yes. So intention is actually 2 words. We actually hold the tension. So I would like us just to start this session with an intention to hold that tension. So just think for a moment, what would you like to get from the next 88 minutes? And with what would you like to get out of this room? And we'll try to hold that tension together, and after all of this will end, I would really like you to go out and take home one message. And the one message that I'll also try to remember to say in the end is that connectivity is not a noun, but a verb. Meaning, the way we create collaboration, it's not just something that you figure out someday, but it's maybe more similar to yoga, right? You don't see these yoga masters, oh, I got the yoga, I got all asanas, thank you so much. No, it's like, it's practicing it. and we should really treat it with the best respect we can. Another thing that I'll try to get out of the session is 3 very practical tools to create a connectivity platform. So when you go back to your communities, you can create better collaboration in your platforms, and maybe even to collaborate together. So let's start. Let's talk about connectivity. Let's talk about Jews. Let's talk about our secret sausage. So, as you know, we're here for a really long time, and now we're in this room. We can all share that probably one of the biggest assets of Judaism is the way that we can really relate to each other. You know, actually also in synagogues, one of the Orthodox rules in synagogues that there must be a window. Why? To look out, to be part of something.
But it's not only in the Orthodox synagogues.
Oh, not only, of course. It started many years ago, but it's an approach. It's an approach that we have this togetherness, and of course we also have this secret ingredient in Israel. And Oded was talking. Where are you, Oded? You were talking so beautifully earlier about what happened after October 7th. And I think that also kind of revealed that secret ingredient, meaning that in the worst time, we can rise up and say, hey, we have this connection, we have this deep connection, we have this arvut adadit, or in Spanish.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, in this kind of times, I think that connectivity has even heavier meaning. So how can we create it better? We actually have this thing we call resilient connectivity, meaning that when we feel connected, we actually have better resiliency. Have you ever felt it? Maybe even in your own family, okay? God forbid, when someone is not feeling so good, you don't get ill when someone else gets ill, right? Have you ever felt it? That it comes in turns. Okay, so now you don't feel so good. I'll treat you well. You don't get ill when someone else does. How so? We have this mechanism that really helps us to support each other. And I was really curious to study that. And I want to share with you also something that is quite personal, but I feel so welcome here. I think maybe I'm supposed to be Latin. I feel part of this group, so I'll just share something that is very personal. Okay, here it goes. So when I was a child, I grew up and I didn't really felt belong. I didn't have the sense of belonging, and I was really trying, to be part of something, but I didn't get the sense that I can be part. So as a kid in Israel, like, 15, 16 years old, what do? Any ideas? Get creative. It was something really, I don't know why I did it. A trip. Okay, it was a long trip. To what? So it was quite a journey. I actually started dreaming about becoming a rescuer. I wanted to be this guy that comes in the middle of all trouble and just rescue, and then everyone's okay, and to be that rescue guy. And then there's this search and rescue unit in the Israel Air Force. 669, יפה. Have you ever heard of it? Whoever heard of it? Just, yeah, cool, okay. So that was my dream, and I really look forward to be part of it. And eventually I did. And you know what? That decision actually was the best school for collaboration. Because when you're on a mission, and 669 is actually Israel's last defense line, like when everything collapses, everything's not working, you can't call police, you can't call whoever, they call you, and then you don't know what's about to happen because it's always like a catastrophe, and you just arrive, usually it's the middle of the night, you get all the wrong details on the helicopter, you land, and it's just chaos. And it's usually just you and another buddy. It's two guys on the helicopter. You land, and everyone looks at you like I dream when I was a child that you're the rescuer, but it's just the two of you. So it all depends now on how you create these connectivities, because you need to collaborate with the medicine force, and you need to collaborate with the fighters on ground, and you need to collaborate with the hospital. How can you create all those different fractions to work together? And you know what? I studied about rescue units, and apparently the Israel model is quite unique, as in Israel. Everything is quite unique. It's not so unique, that everything is unique. And usually people train for the rescue unit like for 5 years. And then only then they become. And in Israel, they take you when you finish your high school exams, you're 18, and in a year and a half, you become Israel's last defense line. And another thing, usually the people who go to be rescuers, the people who train to go and become part of the rescue unit, they actually come from the same group. Like it's a bunch of graduates of these elite forces, Green Berets, that go and do that. But in Israel, they take them from all around Israel. Very diverse group. And in a year and a half, they become this cohesive rescue team. How so? So this is what I studied, and I want to share it with you. Just before I touch some insight about it, I don't want you to know that this passion that I had to decode the collaboration code is actually something that I found most relevant to the social activist world, meaning that the same advices that I was given when I served in the rescue team helped me when I built the collab, the collaboration lab. Did you mention it in Spanish? So I'll try to put another sentence. Collaboration Lab is actually the flagship initiative of UJA Federation of New York. I worked 5 years for UJA Federation of New York, and I was in charge of innovation there. And part of it was to build this innovation lab where people come from very different communities to create social innovations together. So we had Orthodox and non-Orthodox and right-wing and left-wing and Arabs and Jews, many kinds of people coming together to create these joint initiatives. And what I found out is that actually we did a lot of mistakes. So I want to share with you the mistakes we did. Here I call them myths, like, but it's actually like lies on collaboration. Like what was like the 7 major mistakes we did, and I think that they might be relevant for anyone who tried to create social connectivity. So the first one was that we assume that diversity brings innovation. Actually, when you hit diversity and innovation on Google, you get how many results? About 1 billion, yes? And that's because it's very popular, like in the high-tech scene. It's like you have these giant posters of innovation. Diversity drives innovation, right? It's like something that people really like to say. But in real life, we know, it's quite a challenge. When we have diverse groups, usually bring chaos and a lot of misunderstanding and what we love to call balagan. And it's not normal for diversity to become innovation. It's like expecting the venom of the snake to become the antidote. Yes, it can become the antidote, but only if you treat it with respect. If we just take diverse groups and put them in the room and put the pressure on and expect now innovation to flourish, troubles are coming. And we're witnessing it these days, not only in Israel, we're witnessing how much damage it can control. But, as we said, the venom can become the antidote. But we need to really be careful with the process. This is something that took us really some time to learn, and I think that the most important thing that we learn is that we are pushing against gravity. And now, everyone in this room, I think of you as my partners, because we share the value of cohesiveness. All for cohesiveness, raise your hand. Let's see who's not. Oded, hi. Okay, so I think that if we want this cohesiveness, we must remember that gravity is against us, because gravity is social media, and the more polarized you are, the more popularity you'll probably get. So we're actually trying to hold it, and we must find this place. There's this beautiful saying, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. So how do we build this field? How can we create this safe haven? This place where we can create this equation to be right. So the first thing is that we must not assume that diversity drives innovation for itself. The second thing that comes along with it is the hero fantasy. La fantasia della hero, right? Eroe, I did it Italian. Okay. So I think that another thing that I really try to believe is that there is this someone, sometimes they call it Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, usually it's a white man, that he's like the genius that will save us all and give us the right answers. And the thing is that you really false believe in this someone. And when you put all your belief in this single hero who comes from outside, you can actually create weakness in the system that you're in. There's a famous quote of Professor Linda Hill. She teaches at the Harvard Business School, and she wrote this amazing book called Collective Genius. And it's about the art and practice of leading innovation and how to manage for collective creativity. And she goes like this. Great leaders of innovation don't fit the conventional mold of good leadership. They're not visionaries. That's the first, right? Usually when people talk about leadership, it's like visionary leadership. It says, no, it's not about visionary. It's not about setting a direction and inspire others to follow. Instead, they create the context in which others are both willing and able to innovate. And she quotes the CEO of Pixar. You know Pixar? Have you heard of Pixar? Yeah? Okay. So it was new to me. I actually started seeing their films thanks to this. And she's saying that, so the CEO of Pixar That's a company that creates a lot of creativity, and he says, my job is to set the stage, not to perform on it. So I think that what she's trying to say, that we must prefer solidarity instead of protagonism, instead of believing that there's this one hero that will come and save us. The next lie that we've been telling ourselves in the years that we tried to create this connectivity platforms was like the alpha team. And you know, when you're in an alpha team, everyone has their own specific role, right? So also in the rescue unit, you have this role, you have this guy who's like the rope guy, you have the water guy, you have like superpowers. And the thing is that when you're in alpha team, you don't really get to admit that you're embarrassed. Like, I'm not really sure that I'm doing the right tie right here. I'm not really sure that this is the place to die. And I think that this is also something that we can call maybe a facade. And this is when we try to move from an ecosystem to an ecosystem, because we usually see ourselves living in a system of personas, egos. But as all animals, we all live in this ecosystem. As you know, there's this, the National Geographic with the savannas, and they have this amazing eco corridors. Have you ever seen an eco corridor? It's the place where the animals can go together. So usually you have some areas for those animals, some areas for the predators, but then there's also a place where they can walk together and get water together, and that's like something that helps all of them. So the myth of controlling divisiveness in an ecosystem cannot be true. We cannot control that, okay, you'll do your part, I'll do my part, great, we'll meet next week, see you. It just can't work. And if we try to convince ourselves that each one of us has his own role and we must not interfere in each other's role, it would be just what it is right now in some places. And I think that another thing is about the academic illusion. You know, that sometimes you feel that if we'll get the right professor or if we'll get the right article, when we started the Collab, so it's a social program for very high senior leadership. Like there was the minister of agriculture, and there were the Knesset members, and really people with really high profile. So the first thing they asked, okay, so can we get the syllabus of this program? Because we want to see who are the professor and what are we going to learn. We said, you'll get the syllabus in the first week. The first week was in the desert. So we all went to the desert, and we just sat in a circle, and we actually asked them 2 questions. What they want to learn and what they want to teach. And that was the syllabus. So then, after those 2 questions, we created the syllabus ourselves. And it wasn't a theoretical syllabus, it was inquiring journey, when we actually walked to the most interesting places that no professor could ever take us, no article could reveal the amazing, significant sensitivities that we saw. And it wasn't with the fluorescent, so I'm actually kind of paradoxing here, because we're sitting under the fluorescent, right? But it can never be done. It's just, it's just a first step, because the most important connectivities will never happen under the fluorescent. You'll have to sweat together, you'll have to journey together, you'll have to be outside of your comfort zone. So That's another myth that we tried to hold and didn't really help us. So that we talk about the alpha team. We didn't talk about that. How can you prevent someone of feeling, okay, so now I'm part of the alpha team. And what we did, and I highly recommend everyone to also do this, it's actually called spiritual biography. Meaning we gave every team member an hour to reveal their biggest influence, right? So if I ask Cecilia, can you share with us an influence that made you, Cecilia? It can be whatever created Cecilia, the person who sits here today.
My children,
What about your children?
they are the ones that made me what I am. Changed, I became more human. They give me, I give to them, so I think this collaboration is what really made what I am.
Amazing. I think that's such a beautiful answer. And that's also not something you write on a CV, right? But it's much more important. And we tend to take the CV, but if we ask ourselves, what made me become the person that I'm here today? What made me be here right now? And to share it creates something that is so precious. Because the best fuel for any connectivity is vulnerability brings us there, but the ultimate goal, honest will get you there, but the best fuel for any connectivity. Talking is something in the way. Sharing, it's like the gas. It's the gas station, but you go to the gas station and then you bring what? And the fuel is
empathy.
Authenticity is part of it. The fuel is
Empathy.
what? No. Someone will say the word. I won't say the word. Someone will say the word. What?
Empathy.
What?
Empathy.
Purpose is something that is very important, but the fuel itself,
Desire.
what?
Love.
Authenticity.
Empathy.
Self.
Listen, this is really important thing that you're saying, but there's one word that is
Give us the first letter.
T.
Purpose.
What? Trust. Who said it? Okay, stand up. Yes. Listen. This comes from experience. Yes, indeed. Trust is the fuel. Now, everything you said is amazing, is beautifully, it's very important, but it all just the markivim. Ingredients to bring us to this trust. And then when we have this kind of trust, then we can create collaborations. Then we can create this deeper sense of connectivity. Then it can hold the tension. Remember the tension? We must have trust to hold both sides of the tension. And when we share our spiritual biographies, then we can get there. So, another thing that we must really, this is a huge no-no. It's like insurance policy. That's what it says in Spanish, insurance policy. Okay. So the police comes and says, listen. You must be sure. You must be sure what you're doing before you get along. And this is really frustrating because waiting for the final confirmation really leaves us at a theoretical arena. And now I want to share with you a lesson I learned from the D School. Have you heard of the D School at Stanford? It's like the best design school. They invented the design thinking. And they have this one lesson that is the most important lesson, and I really want to share it with you. And it holds two words, and it holds everything. It goes like this: fail fast. Meaning, if we wait for this insurance, for the police to enforce the insurance, then we're in trouble because nothing will happen and we don't have time. We don't have time. And in order for us to create social ventures, in order for us to enable joint initiatives and to repair some of the broken connectivity that is just spreading around in the world, we must take the iteration road, meaning it's an ongoing draft, okay? You don't treat your venture as you're gonna write the great American novel. It's not about it. You're just writing an ongoing draft. And that's all. And you know what? If it's gonna be rubbish, just throw it away. Fail fast. You don't have to save it. We all have so many saved files in our computer and in our life that maybe we shouldn't have saved them, but we are thankful that they are behind us. And last thing is that when you do all of this, sometimes in social programs, you feel that now you're part of this really amazing group. And Jews known about numerous clauses some years, and some places still have numerous clauses and don't get outsiders in. And I think that the one thing we should really be careful is closing our gates, because we should really be so sensitive. So we must get all help we can get. And in order to do so, in the connectivity platforms that we did, we used something we call liveline, like deadline, but it's a live. Meaning there was a date, there was a final date, like in the collab, before the group met for the first time, they knew when will be the pitch day, when will they present their joint initiatives in New York. So they don't know who are the group members, they don't know what's the subject, they don't know what they're going to do, but they have this live line. And because it's such intense, we must have all hands on deck. So we don't have like this feeling that, okay, it's just us, thank you so much. No, we actually thought of getting all partners we can. So we had this thing we call organizational partners, meaning everyone came from the organization, but we also asked them to bring more people. So we had this self-perpetuation, that the impact become larger and larger. So those were the 7 myths that lies on connectivity, and I hope that you fail faster than I did, and I really know that it's impossible not to, but you know, it really helped us to get the other structure right. Now, I also want to share these 3 key tools that I got from the search and rescue training protocol. And I think that those tools are also so relevant for social activism. And the first thing is the radical bottom-up, meaning that the knowledge would come from inside. So in the search and rescue unit, you don't really have commanders, right? You don't have ranks, and you get people to tell their truth at any time. And another thing is that there's no real outsourced answers. You don't get the privilege of calling the rescue unit, because you are the rescue unit. So it's quite embarrassing to say, someone please call 669, because, okay, guy, what are you talking about? So I think that was something that was very obvious, that it was up to us. Whatever it is, it was up to us. So I think that what helped us to realize it is that we bring all systems in one room to connect. Meaning, when we create social ventures, we bring everyone to the same room, and only then we start talking. So if we have now, who's here is a social activist? Like, who's here? Okay, so we have Deborah here, right? Okay. And we also have, like, the platform. Like, who here has, like, an organization that supports ventures like Deborah? Marcos. Okay. And now we also have, like, this umbrella organization. Who here holds a role in an umbrella organization? Oz. Okay. So the regular thing would be to have, like, 3 meetings. One with Deborah, one with Marcus, one with Oz. And I'm pitching to each one of them, why should they take my idea to be part of Deborah's venture. But if we want the radical bottom-up talk, means, listen, we should get together, the 4 of us, because maybe Marcus has an amazing idea that could help us. Maybe Oz knows about something that can really scale it up. But we won't be able to get those opportunities if we don't share them in the one room. The second thing, as you said earlier, is vulnerability, but not just vulnerability, but shared vulnerability, meaning that everyone gets to see everyone. It's not just me sharing my spiritual biography, it's also me listening to all of your spiritual biographies and really get a sense of who you are, and that brings us to belonging. And belonging is much more than inclusiveness. Belonging is the key factor for trust, and we must get trust. So with this shared vulnerability, we must remember that we cannot be judgmental. We cannot be, okay, but you're wrong. we must observe how can we create this sense of belonging, and we know that the other is not an object, but a subject, la outra, right?
I have a question. I find very interesting what you're saying about inclusiveness and belonging, really. And I feel a bit challenged because on our organization we speak about community inclusiveness, meaning that everyone, mostly when we speak about vulnerable Jewish population, we understand that they should be more than just clients from humanitarian support, but be part of the community, and we speak much about inclusiveness. And it's interesting what you're talking about belonging. The point is that you cannot have belonging without inclusiveness, in my view. I mean, I think that inclusiveness is a kind of and sine qua non condition for belonging.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. You're absolutely right. Actually, do you know the organization Akim in Israel? So it's like an organization for kids with special needs, and also in Argentina. So Sigal Peret, the CEO of Akim, she was also a participant in my program, and she actually last week I met her, and she gave me this amazing brochure that they're doing now. Actually, do you know like the pyramid of needs? So they did the pyramid of the pyramid of inclusivity, and then they have inclusion, and upon the inclusion is belonging. So this is so true, and thank you so much for saying it, and also for getting me to think about it, because I think that the third thing, and this is also really connected to it, is actually the mission-oriented, meaning that it's all to create this task together, and it's like bicycle. You see, like once you don't move, you fall. And also, do you know the dynamo light in the bicycle? It's like for my age, it's not, yeah. But there was this thing, the dynamo, and when you push the wheels, right. So I think also in social actives, like, you must move. Once you don't do, you'll fall. We don't have the privilege of just thinking theoretically. And also, once you do it, you also have this collateral light. You have this collateral light that enables you to see better. So now I want us to actually do it together, and we're gonna practice. It in the circles that you are, and each circle has the canvas, the paper, and some markers. And I want to give you a present, because everything till now was just a preparation. Now it's the real deal. Okay? So here's the thing. I'm going to give you an answer that will really create better connectivity between the communities in this room. We have how many? 14 countries? 15 countries in this room?
Anna?
And many kinds of...
How many countries, Sharon?
Okay, let's say 15. More than 10.
More than 10. Who gave me 20? And then we have an opportunity to connect better between those communities, and Ari will give you a magical answer to do so. But in order for me to give you the best answer on how to connect better and how to collaborate best between the communities inside this room, I must get the accurate answer, the accurate question. I must get the right question for us to know how to connect better. So if you could know exactly, if you could get this magic answer, what would be the question? Now I'll ask you to take 3 minutes. We won't have a lot of time. 3 minutes to figure out together what? One question, one answer, one question. What is the question that will give us the right answer to connect better here?
Again, say again.
So you said it in Spanish.
No. Say again. ¿Cuál es la mejor pregunta que nos va a dar la respuesta para conectar de la mejor manera entre todos los que estamos acá? Hay que construir una pregunta que tenga una respuesta, que esa respuesta sea la respuesta a la mejor conexión que podamos tener las comunidades que estamos involucradas en esta sala. ¿Sí? Vamos a hacer el intento. Let's try.
That was beautiful. I didn't understand the word, but it was so beautiful. And again, the mission is how can we, not theoretical we, how can we in this room today, now, how can we build resilient connectivity between our communities? What is the answer that if we have, what is the question that if we have the answer will give us the best resilient connectivity? 3 minutes from now.
Los grupos son de 4 o 5 y tienen que estar alrededor de una cartulina, de un afiche. 4 o 5, algunos tienen que dar vuelta. Sí, hay que escribirlo en el afiche. Sí, me falta gente. Y esa pregunta tienen que escribirla en el afiche.
ahorita creo que ahorita no está hablando de la colección. Ahorita solamente está hablando de colaboración. La acción viene después. Incluso en la colección no hay acción. Pero ahorita nada más estás creando la colección.
De reconocimiento.
Reconocimiento intelectual. La colección implica eso.
Okay, I remind you of ongoing draft. It's an ongoing draft. It's a mission oriented. It's a lifeline. 1 more minute. 1 more minute, and whatever you got. 1 last minute.
Queda bien. Está satisfaciendo una curiosidad Dice que no tiene letra de
Okay, we have last minute. Okay. Okay. Jesse, what do you think? Okay, so now we are going to practice our IQ. We're going to practice collective genius, and we're going to do it like this. From each circle here, we will need a representative, and the representatives of each group.
Silence, please.
Silencio.
Let's say again, bro. Let's say again.
Okay.
Let's wait for silence.
So, I have an important announcement to make. Everything until now was just the rehearsal. Now we're about to start. And for us to start, we will need one representative of each circle, one representative that will take a chair and sit in the middle, and everyone else, please take all chairs aside. So please help me and take all chairs aside.
Wait a minute. Un representante de cada grupo, definan quién.
With the paper.
Un representante de cada grupo con el afiche, definan quién antes de moverse. La va a agarrar y va a hacer un círculo en el medio. Agarra la cartulina, el representante trae la silla y se sienta en un círculo en el medio. El resto de las personas con sus sillas van para las paredes.
Exactly. So we're going to have two circles. Inner circle of each representative and all of us in the outer circle.
Todos los representantes con su cartulina vienen acá y armamos un círculo pequeño con su silla y su cartulina y armamos un círculo. Acá.
The outer circle can sit, can stand, whatever you want. The inner circle must sit with the paper.
Bien, 3 representantes, 4 representantes, 5, 6, 7. Joder. Perfecto. Daniela, ¿vos venís acá? ¿Sos la representante? Ok. Traigan 2 sillas, por favor.
Last representatives to the inner circle.
Oh, we did it!
So we're gonna answer.
We did it!
Yeah, we're gonna give the answer that will help us to understand how can we.
Vamos a hacer silencio. Levantamos la mano, el que está escuchando, la que está escuchando.
Capuchano.
Escuchando.
Gracias. So, how can we in this room build resilient connectivity between our communities? We can get the answer, but we must have the right question. In order for us to have the right question, we assembled here a collective genius of representatives that will now give us the right question. And they will do it in a collective genius kind of way. So they're going to show us how to collective genius. And just before they do so, I want us to read something really beautifully. And like failure, chaos contains information that can lead to knowledge, even wisdom. Like art. That's a quote of, do you know who wrote it? It's Toni Morrison. And it's from a beautiful book that says, no place for self-pity, no room for fear. So with these words, no place for self-pity, no room for fear, we're gonna acknowledge that everything till now is just a preparation for this fishbowl to show us now how to create collective genius, to create the right question. So we're all now here on the outside gonna listen to them, and if anyone want to exchange with a representative, you just go and you can tap on the shoulder and you exchange. But other than that, please give us the right question.
So, Roy, give me something. Lo que están en el medio es el fishbowl, es la pecera, el resto estamos todos en silencio, escuchando muy atentamente lo que ellos van a discutir. Si alguno quiere entrar a esa ronda de discusión, se para sin pedirle permiso a nadie, toca el hombro a alguna de las personas, esa persona toma su lugar y la persona que está afuera entra a la pecera de conversación, a continuar la conversación porque se le ocurrió decir algo.
Pero del mismo team.
No, de cualquier grupo, ya está. Los grupos fueron simplemente un disparador. ¿Sí? Como que yo entro, le toco el hombro a alguien, esa es una manera de sacarlo y esa es mi manera de entrar. Lo que es muy importante es que todos los que estamos afuera estemos en silencio, así escuchamos la conversación del fishbowl. Ok,
So the first question that we thought about is la primera pregunta en la cual creemos que es la más importante es ¿hacia dónde vamos? O sea, ¿cuál es la meta en común? ¿Hacia dónde queremos llegar todos? ¿Qué tenemos en común para que desde ahí podamos empezar a entender cómo podemos ayudarnos unos a los otros?
Yo también tengo la misma pregunta y agrego algo. Pensamos en cuál es la base común que tenemos, no solamente pensando en objetivos, sino capaz en bases morales que se comparten para incluir lo que vimos en la presentación.
Nuestra pregunta es ¿cómo nos podemos ayudar? How can we help each other? También seguida la pregunta, voy a hacer trampa, ¿estás dispuesto a que te ayuden? Nada, nos pareció que también la pregunta envolvía también una dimensión de valores al decir que estábamos partiendo de la base de la colaboración y la confianza en que la ayuda del otro iba a ser valiosa.
Nosotros partimos del tema de también con sentido, propósito, misión, pero también preguntándonos qué entendemos por colaborar o qué forma se construye para llegar a una pregunta que dice ¿qué tenemos que salvar? En el entendido de salvar puede ser mejorar, cambiar, preservar, destruir, para salvarnos.
Bueno, nosotros partimos de la base que tenemos un idioma común, unas características similares, nos tomamos un mate, hicimos 40, me invitaron, me tomé mi primer mate, me retrataron y decidimos que la pregunta, discutimos bastante, era igual en qué te puedo ayudar. Porque a veces los problemas no son tan diferentes para unos y para otros, pero las soluciones sí pueden ser diferentes para unos y para otros.
Bueno, acá nosotros también tuvimos un poco el mismo proceso, hablamos harto de cuál es el sentido que nos une acá, a todos acá ahora, por qué estamos compartiendo esto, cuáles son los valores que estamos al final un poco poniendo en estas actividades. También nos fuimos un poco más en lo básico y partimos con una primera pregunta que sería más que nada un ¿cómo estás? O sea, antes de si te puedo ayudar, si no te puedo ayudar, ¿quieres que yo te ayude? Es ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué te está pasando? ¿Cómo te estás sintiendo? ¿Qué te tiene aquí? Y cómo yo también puedo contribuir un poco a eso. Y en base a todo esto salió la pregunta de qué te hace ser tú, cuáles son tus fortalezas, cuáles son tus debilidades, que dentro de un marco protegido como es el de ahora estás dispuesto a compartir, un poco a buscar esa vulnerabilidad para poder tener una relación con sentido y confianza.
Muchas gracias. En nuestro grupo se discutieron preguntas parecidas que podrían resumirse en esta frase, pero hay una última en donde nos pusimos ansiosos para el final. Dijimos, si hay una respuesta que nos van a dar, entonces queremos hacer, dinos la respuesta y empezamos a colaborar. Entonces nos preguntamos cuál es la respuesta, luego nos preguntamos qué vino primero, el huevo o la gallina, vamos a trabajar. Y yo creo que la forma de decir esto de una manera más judía está en el tuyo, y hago un spoiler que es no.
Bueno, la verdad es que nosotros lo analizamos bastante diferente y nos fuimos un poquito más a la base. Pensamos que la conexión se crea desde la escucha primero y desde la escucha activa y humilde. ¿Eso qué quiere decir? Activa, que nos escuchamos ambos, lo que cada quien quiere comunicar y no lo que queremos escuchar, porque muchas veces preguntamos por algo que queremos escuchar y tal vez no es lo que la persona quiere decirnos. Y la otra es que no colocándonos desde una posición de poder, porque cuando yo digo en qué te puedo ayudar, estoy asumiendo que yo tengo la ayuda y la respuesta para lo que esa persona necesita y no precisamente, ¿verdad? De repente no. Entonces, por eso resumimos la pregunta en ¿qué me dices de ti y qué quisieras saber de mí? Nos fuimos a algo como más básico. Escuchémonos, hablemos. De repente tenemos cosas en común, de repente no tenemos nada en común, pero no tener algo en común no quiere decir que no podamos conectar.
Bravo.
Muy bien.
Vamos equipo.
Nosotros pusimos, bueno, nos hicimos muchas preguntas, pero al final era cómo llegamos juntos a un propósito común, respetando nuestros propósitos individuales.
Yeah, okay. I'm the only one speaking in English, so sorry about that. And we had huge dilemmas about these big questions. But I think, if I'm representing my group well, what we understood that it's a why question. It's not a what question. And it's not a who or a how or where, it's a why question. So the issue is the purpose itself. And so questions like, why do we want to collaborate? Why are we here? There's also a what, because we couldn't phrase it differently, but like, what are we trying to achieve and why? So the why is maybe like the higher level, and if we kind of know that, then okay, then everything else fits in place. So we don't have a question, but we have the first word.
I'm going to speak in English to keep you company. Also because we have pretty much the same conclusion. So I'm going to keep it very short. Our group came up with something very similar, which we said was also a why question, which is why might we grow together?
Muy bien. Nosotros empezamos con un poquito de humor. ¿Cuál es la clave de Wi-Fi para conectar? No, esperen. La respuesta fue no, tal vez mejor para conectar, apaguemos el Wi-Fi. Dejémoslo así. Pues no, bueno, ¿y ahora qué? Luego preguntan, ¿estamos respirando? Ya vamos a conectar. ¿Estamos vivos? ¿Estamos en la misma sintonía con Carmen? Tomémonos un mate. Y preguntamos, ¿qué deseamos en común? Y para aterrizarlo, no nada más al deseo, al wish, como es en la mañana, es ¿qué podemos hacer mejor? ¿Quién va a tocar la espalda?
Vamos a llegar a esto, pero...
Listen,
amazing.
It was amazing. I just want us to really to hold what happened here. Just look at them. So brave to volunteer, to be in the circle inside, to be volunteer. And all of us were witnessing what was happening. I witnessed that just as you started, 5 people in less than a minute asked me if I can hear, if I have like the translation from Spanish to English. 5 people. You may think it's not about collective genius. It is about collective genius. This kind of sensitivity that you said, listen, let's speak in French. Do you have the earphone? Can you understand? This is inclusion. This is an answer much more important than the question. And what we saw is that so many of you talked about an altruism question. How can I help you? How can I give you the password? And the thing is that it's, as Odette said, it's a lot about the how and how we gather. As we said in the beginning, it's quite a journey. It's quite a journey to get to resilient connectivity. We know we're pushing gravity. We know that if we won't do anything, or if we'll keep it just in the theoretical dimension, we won't have resilient connectivity, we'll have divisiveness. And now I want to approach the large circle. And I want to ask each and every one of you to capsulate one word, one phrase about the fishbowl experience, about watching them trying to figure out the right question. So we'll have one brave woman, and then she'll decide, or he, which direction we're gonna go.
Let's do quickly, like, uno empieza a hablar y seguimos, es una palabra. Okay, el que quiera que empieza, vamos, dale, para tu, y va para tu izquierda.
Respect. Intención.
Puntos en común.
Inclusión.
Roots.
Claridad.
Engagement. Comprensión.
Common ground.
Escucha.
Ronda.
Comprensión.
Sinergia.
Feeling. Cuidarnos.
Raro.
Survival mode.
Confundido.
Círculo virtuoso. Sinergia.
Empatía. Familia.
Confianza.
Sharing.
Struggling for originality. Say it again. Struggling for originality.
Brainstorming.
Escucha.
Propósito.
Intención.
Brújula.
I don't have a word.
Comunicación.
Acabo de decir, Anita, lo que yo iba a decir.
Intercambio.
Liderazgos.
Repetido.
Ay, perdón, no importa. Diálogo.
The cameraman.
Entusiasmo.
Reconocimiento.
Sincronicidad. Disponibilidad.
Bravo por el sentido del humor.
Cohesión.
Paciencia.
Guay.
Vulnerabilidad.
Alegría.
Gracias. Muy bien, muy bien.
Voluntad.
Muchas gracias. I just in the end, there's a song of Dora La Geva. In the end, I needed to practice for 20 years to realize that no one ever needed advice, but belonging. That no one ever needed to change, but to heal. That no one ever needed anything but eyes that see their wholeness within the cracks. In the end, the reason that we fight so much for inclusiveness is for us to heal the cracks. We see that there's a reflection between our communities. We see there's a connection. Sometimes some people may deny this connectivity. Today, we see it in this room, and we know that our way is way of connectivity. So thank you so much for being part of it, and thank you so much for the honor of being in this circle today with you. Gracias.